Welcome to the Realtor for Hoopers podcast.
When I pull up with my dogs, we gon' ball like Swish. No, I ball like. No, I ball like.
All right, welcome to another episode of the interview series. Today we got episode 18, and one of my really good friends and someone that has done a lot in the Colorado basketball community, Derek Griffin. So appreciate the time, man.
Appreciate being here.
Yep. So question we start with everyone is tell us your basketball story.
Ooh, wow.
And you can start from 2 years old. You can start in high school or wherever you want to start.
Born and raised in Michigan. That's where I grew up and in a basketball family. Dad was a varsity coach with a couple state championships as a player himself, played in college. My cousin played in the NBA for, I think, 12 years. Played for the Spurs and the Jazz.
And who would that be?
His name's Paul Griffin.
Okay.
He played with Pistol Pete and some of those guys back in the day.
Awesome.
So basketball, everything. Grew up playing and went to college at Calvin University in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Graduated and moved to Denver in 2010 to work for the Denver Nuggets. Simultaneously, got roped into 3-on-3 for the national team and the FIBA World Tour. So I started playing and traveling the world and working for the Nuggets. I would what you consider a very lucky basketball person because the Nuggets supported that venture, and so I was able to travel and work with them, and it was a great partnership and had a lot of fun playing.
And what were you doing for the Nuggets?
I was the director of their youth development. So I basically was their community ambassador to teach basketball, to create young Denver Nugget fans. That started to splinter off because I also got to go and run camps in other parts of the world, and which was really fun. But it was a really great job and a crazy time of life where I was traveling the world almost every month and still playing at a high level, and then eventually. Had a good following to start my own company called Hardwood Evolution, and with teams and camps and clinics and training and all the other stuff. And so that's been pretty successful. So
Sweet. So in what years again were you playing in FIBA 3-on-3?
Ooh, 2000. I think it was 2011 or 12 to 2015 or 16.
And you're playing with Corey Campbell, Patrick Hanaway,
Marcus Stockton. Well, we had a lot of Shug. Shug played with us. A guy named Paris Kyle out of Minnesota played with us. Dominique Perez played with us.
Yep.
Trying to think. Peanut. Yep. Derek Lemuel played with us. We had Puckett. He played with us. Yep. We had a bunch of awesome basketball players that helped us along the way.
Cool. Well, appreciate you going through that story. I always like to give people kind of like where you're coming from, what kind of career you've had. So, next question I have is actually kind of alluding to, your experience in 3-on-3. What do you think is the biggest difference between like high level 3-on-3 ball and high level 5-on-5? Because you've played both and you've experienced both. What's the biggest difference that you've experienced?
I said this from day one. I think 3-on-3 is like a 10-minute sprint. It is the most cardio driven game. You play so fast because of the 12-second shot clock. And it's such a fast pace because you're on offense, and unlike in 5-on-5 where, let's say I miss a shot, I can jog back, or vice versa. I could jog back at one point and rest on defense. And 3-on-3, you're on an island, so you never can take a play off. You never can just relax on defense, and then you can never. There's never a moment of transition. So
you can't put your head down.
Yeah,
if you put your head down, there's a three going up and they're scoring.
So it's interesting because it's a half court, but I thought it was way harder when it came to the cardiovascular portion of it. And the pace is faster. So 12-second shot clock. You get a rebound, you kick it out. It's one pass and shot or one move and shot, and it was built for someone like me that it just creates a lot of shooting opportunity. Corey Campbell and I made a living on that, but that's different. Playing outside, you have the elements to deal with. We've been in places in this world, whether it was Brazil, whether it was Puerto Rico, whether it was Miami, where the weather played a part. We played in Chicago one year, and the wind coming off the lake was so strong it affected 3-point shooting. Abu Dhabi, we had wind, and it was like 120 degrees. So we always had to battle the elements everywhere we went. We went to Mexico City, and the elevation, because you're actually higher than you are here in Denver, and the air quality's trash. So it was really hard to breathe there. So the X factor elements for 3-on-3 is always important. If you watch the Olympics right now, you see it. It's raining. They're having to stop. It's slipping. I didn't see Jimmer get hurt, but I'm guessing there was a slip because you're playing on plastic. So even humidity affects it. So it's those things.
And you even got to remember too, like a lot of people don't realize too, it's a whole different basketball too. Like the basketball is a little smaller. It has these weird grooves in it too. So it's a different feel too. So that's even a transition of like just a normal shot. You're having to adjust to that, and you get used to it obviously once you're training for it and all that. But
well, I'm going to give you the evolution of the ball. The first year they made us use girls' basketballs. The second year they made us use men's basketballs. The third year they created a ball that's the one they use now. It's the size of a girl's ball, but the weight of a men's ball. That's the official 3-on-3 ball now. So we were there in the beginning and through all the testing, and everybody wanted to create their own ball. And we had meetings with Molten, with Nike, with all these different companies to create a specific ball that's unique to 3-on-3. So that was the one unique part in the beginning. I was through the transition into what it is today, and I actually like the new ball. On paper, it's the same weight as the men's ball, but smaller. So it should go in more. So that's kind of nice.
So cool.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you doing that. All right. So next question is, what's the story behind Hardwood Evolution? Why you started it, the goals, the values, etc. So just kind of talk about that.
So I got to rewind. So before I started my own program, I helped another one early in my career here, and I got in, hated it, and I told my wife never to let me do it again. And fast forward, what I did for the next 6 years was kind of study the realm of club basketball going. I understand it now. If I step into it, I'm going to step into it in a way that I believe is good, and it should be ran this way. And if it fails, great. My quality of life will go up. If it doesn't fail, great. My quality of life will go up. So I was going in with the mindset of I had this vision for teams, but with the foundation of camps, clinics, and training. I love helping kids. I love training and camps. I have so much fun in those. And then those kind of turned into, one team. And then one team turned to two teams turned into, I think we're at somewhere around 50 now. I don't know. And the vision behind it was I just wanted to help kids. I felt I had a gift to communicate, to teach the game of basketball, and I wanted to reciprocate that at a higher level. So that's kind of the foundation of why this came about.
Great. And you do. We're sitting here in Club Greenwood in Inglewood, Colorado. So you do all your training mostly out of here, right?
Yes.
And the program kind of runs through the Club Greenwood for the most part?
Club Greenwood is we call our center point. They've been great with us. I think it's the highest end, the best athletic facility in Colorado. I've been to almost every gym, and this one's by far the best. Jay Madden runs this club, and he does a great job. And he keeps it clean, he keeps it up to date. He supports our program, he always has, and the staff here has as well. So it's a top notch. But we're so big now that we have to outsource to surrounding gyms and high schools and stuff. So
you don't have so much court time.
Yeah, I wish I had a bigger space here so we could do it all the time. So
great. Okay. So now we're going to kind of get into a little bit of more technical side of things, since you have a lot of experience not only playing yourself, but also coaching and training and all that. So for, I guess, youth players coming up, people learning how to play basketball at a high level, what do you think is the most common mistake they make when they're, shooting or when they're learning how to shoot? If you're, obviously you're got a great history of being a shooter, and I connect to that obviously, and so wanted to pick your brain a little bit.
I think the biggest mistake, it's kind of interesting. That's a great question, because the biggest mistake I would guess is you don't pursue perfection. Shooting a basketball is an evolving thing. When you're young, you shoot a certain way. When you're old, when you get older, it shoots, but it changes over time. There's a lifespan of a shot, right? And what I've developed over a career of teaching shooting is there's certain stages you want to hit. So the biggest mistake I would say families make, because it's not a kid that makes it, it's a kid and a parent that doesn't understand, which is the process never stops.
Yes.
It's not a one-fix-all. Shooting a basketball isn't only a repetition thing. It's a mechanical thing. It's a technical thing. And pursuing perfection in shooting. And, Kobe would talk about it, right? The dream isn't the outcome. The dream is the process, right? And when you live the dream, right, you are pursuing it constantly. My best shooters I've ever coached, the best shooters I've ever known, have pursued perfection, not only in outcome, but in technique. I think that's the biggest mistake. Now, if I'm going to take that general statement and break it down into finer points, I would say the number one problem in all youth basketball shooting is shooting the ball with two hands.
Yep.
If you push it with two hands, you're going to have a roller coaster ride of outcome over the long haul. I would recommend looking at Klay Thompson, Damian Lillard, and look how they shoot and shoot like them.
Yep.
That is what I would say. I would highly recommend doing things like that. Hey, find people that do it and then do what they do.
For sure. Yeah, and I think I like going back to where you say the kind of pursuit of perfection, like just having it, you constantly tweaking your own shot, like from when you're 6 years old to when you're 26 years old, constantly tweaking, whether even if it's like, hey, I need to spread my fingers from here to here, that can make the world of difference. And so pursuing that is only going to help you, because if you're pursuing that perfection, that also means that you're in the gym.
Yes. And
the more shots you get up, better you're going to be.
Well, in what world does that recipe not work, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you want to be great at something, you pursue perfection in that thing, and then you work at it. There's no way to get perfection without that working. And it's not achieving perfection. It's pursuing that.
And I like the whole idea of pursuit, because it's a constant process. It's no ending. Because a lot of people and from it was very interesting that you say it, because my answer to that question was going to be like a kid that falls in love with the way they shoot at 11. And when they're 16, they shoot the exact same way. And it's like, hey, I know you were a pretty good shooter when you're 11, but you don't need to be shooting from your waist anymore.
Exactly.
Because you're strong enough to, wherever you are on the court, you're strong enough to get that ball up there through your legs. But why are you releasing that ball from your waist?
Yep.
Like all that kind of stuff, so just don't fall in love with your shot the way it is today.
Correct. You're absolutely right. And that's when referring to the lifespan, right? You have these benchmarks as you get older and stronger. And here's what naturally happens, right? You're 11 and you're making shots and you hit a growth spurt. Your shot goes haywire. And and this is what I'll forever have a job, because that process. Or you go through puberty and your shot goes haywire. I fix it, and then you start lifting. Your shot goes haywire. I got to fix it. How about this one? You roll your ankle, and now your body compensates, and your shot goes haywire, and you got to fix it. So it's an interesting, it's a delicate process, and what we talk about as coaches is micro movements, right? Yeah. What you were saying, it's funny how micro movements make a big difference. The further away you get from the basket, the more your micro movements have an effect on the outcome, right? So that's why post players have bad form. They're all right next to the rim. I can granny shot it 10 out of 10 right here. But as you move away, now technical support is necessary. So,
and my dad, when I first started playing basketball, because we also loved golf, he used to say, how golfers never really, perfect the golf swing, no matter if you're getting paid millions of dollars or you're some Joe Schmo, a shot's the exact same way. Right. It's just this constant search for how the heck am I going to do this?
Well, how about this? If basketball was a perfect sport, then that would not be true. but it's a failing sport. That means a world-class three-point shooter shoots it at 40%. In a grade and a test, if you get a 40%, you fail, right?
Yep.
So it's because of that gap that the process will never stop, because you miss, and you miss for a reason.
Yep.
Now you got to explore that reason, and so it's a unquenched thirst in the world of basketball.
So and we could go on for
yes, we could. You have no clue.
So we're gonna move on before we spit all day here. So I interviewed your FIBA teammate Corey Campbell.
Yep.
And he tells a story, and I'll tag that story in this podcast as well, about you having to be taken to a hospital, in a Puerto Rican hospital during a FIBA tournament. So you wanted a chance to respond and tell your side of the story. So I'll just hand you the floor.
All right. So I'm gonna start by generalizing the story. One, we go to Puerto Rico to play. The first day, we get there a day early to explore the island and do some fun stuff, some sightseeing, and as soon as we step out of the hotel, my back tightens up like crazy. And I've had back spasms before in college, so I was like, what? I factored the flight in. I was like, it was probably the flight. So we went for a walk around, and it got worse and worse, and then I ended up I was like, I got to sit in the hot tub, loosen this thing up. And then I had one of my teammates hook up the electrodes to me. And I'm doing everything you shouldn't be doing with kidney stones. And then I played 3 games that next day while I'm passing it. And it's not getting better. And you know,
you're passing your kidney stones.
Yes, I don't pass the ball. Ask Corey. I'm going to shoot that thing. But I figured the reason why I got kidney stones in the first place is because Corey wasn't playing well enough, and I had to carry the team for so long that that my body shut down.
Okay.
And so at that moment of time, my body just said, "Hey, it's enough," and I ended up going to the hospital for a while. But that's my side of the Corey Campbell saga.
That's your side.
No, but I will say this because I love Corey. He did take care of me. I was dying. Everything he said was true. Unfortunately, I thought I was dying, and I didn't know what was going on at 3 a.m. in the morning or whatever it was, and I had to go to the hospital. But that was a rude awakening to me, changing how I was treating my body.
Okay. A follow-up question I had that I never heard from Corey, and this is just my curiosity. So what happened from he leaves the hospital to go play, and you're still in the hospital?
This is the crazy part. I'm going to call conspiracy theory all the way through, because once I found out it was just kidney stones, I was like, I'm not dying from kidney stones.
Let me out of here.
Get me out of here. And I was so annoying. I was that worst patient in the world. I'm walking around with my little IV.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can I go yet? Can I go? And Corey left. And here's the sad part is and we've done this before, and where we lost a teammate to an ACL injury. And it just, in 3-on-3, you need subs because you die. You literally get so tired so fast. And he left, and I was like, I think I can make it to the game. And it was because it was so early in the morning, I had 6 or 7 hours to get there, and they kept me there. And I don't know why they kept me there. I still to this day think it was conspiracy, because we ended up losing, I think, to the Puerto Rican team, and in dramatic fashion. And I feel like I could have helped, at least provided a substitution at that point.
Yeah, a couple minutes and whatever.
But to be honest, up to that point, those 3 games I played, I was a waste anyways. Because what Corey probably didn't expand on, in the first game, I'm passing a kidney stone. My whole right side of my body's on fire. I go up, first play of the game, go up, come down on someone's foot, and roll my ankle terribly bad. So I have my left ankle and my right back is just toast. I am done. Corey didn't tell you this. In that first game, he still holds the FIBA record. He scored every single point of the game. Yep. I don't know if he said that.
Catch that on YouTube.
Yeah. Corey still holds the record for that, but that was me giving it to him. Yes. So you're welcome, Corey, for allowing you to shoot it every time like you've always wanted.
I don't think either of you. That's what I saw going back before that FIBA trip. When I saw that you both were on the team, it was like, are they going to play together? How are they? Is it just like it was one of those, there's only one ball.
Yeah. That was, my back was always hurting from carrying Corey for all those years. And
so this was the one you gave Corey that year?
It was a gift to Corey Campbell. So you're welcome there, bud.
Well, you should start like a 501c3, like a nonprofit organization.
I did feel like a nonprofit in that moment of time. I'm such a giver. So that was...
I appreciate it, bud. All right. Well, last question we always ask, and it's probably one of the most difficult questions I like to ask is, if you got to pin it down to one thing, what's your favorite thing about hoop?
Ooh, it's definitely the relationships.
Yeah.
It's never not going to be. It's, and I'll expand it to this because I actually had to answer this question. It's about experiencing success with others, because and it's not only that, it's when you lose with people that you truly care about, something special happens on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's not all about winning together. It's also about losing and how to lose together, and then come together and to fix the problem.
Yeah.
And so if I had to put it on one thing, it would be the relationships that come from basketball, because I can attribute to me getting my education, getting my wife, getting my first job, creating my first business, traveling the world, all to basketball.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest things you could do in life were because of basketball.
Yeah.
So it's the greatest thing, but it's all because of everything you heard is relationships, right? Experiencing it with people, growing with people, and going through the trials and tribulations with people.
I love it, man. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't got anything to add to that.
Awesome, man.
All right,
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it,
man.
All right,
Solid.
Man. Have a good one.
Pull up with my dogs, we gon' ball like Swish. No, I ball like. No, I ball like.